Just a couple of months ago, our Jill Jelnick introduced you to Shelby Duggard, a former Silverdale Baptist Academy softball star who was diagnosed with Pott's disease, a condition in which reduced blood flow to the heart causes the heart rate to increase.
Well, the illness left her wheelchair bound for what she thought would be the rest of her life. And then there was this amazing summer trip overseas. Wait till you hear what happened. Here's Jill Jelnick.
Shelby Duggard's world was turned upside down last summer when she found out her new condition was incurable. Forced to come to terms with her illness, she began sharing her story in the hopes of inspiring others. Little did she know that God was still working on her story, and it's nothing short of a miracle.
We never thought that I would get better unless God, healed me. Like, there's nothing that the doctors could do. And so I think I was at peace with being in a wheelchair. I was at peace with, having to deal with a sickness.
In the course of 1 week, Shelby Duggard went from a potential college softball player to being told she would never walk again. Struggling to come to terms with an incurable disease, Shelby decided to dedicate her life to others. So on July 8th, Shelby left for a mission trip to the Dominican Republic, where her life would change yet again.
We get off the plane and everybody else was complaining about how hot it was, but I didn't feel the heat at all. And I, stood up and I didn't have the pain in my knees anymore. We just start running through the airport with our suitcases flying behind us, and that was the first time I had ran in over a year.
Shelby's prayers had been answered, and she immediately started telling the story of her miraculous recovery.
We would share my testimony and how I was healed with a lot of the locals there, and they would look at my legs and they'd be like, there's no way that God healed you. There's no way that you're the same girl. And I'd be like, yes, look at these pictures. And they would just, fall on the floor in shock, because God still heals the way that he did in the New Testament 2,000 years ago. God's still doing those healing miracles. 10, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Shelby is back on the softball field, but in a new role as an assistant coach for Silverdale's middle school team. Her goal is to inspire the young athletes, making sure they appreciate their God-given talents.
Stay with it. All those games that I played in softball, I never thanked God for the ability to run to first base. And now, just through this trial, just one small thing that he's taught me is to thank God for those little things. And, they're not guaranteed.
Since Shelby's mission trip, her wheelchair has been collecting dust in the corner of her home. Shelby already has plans to take another trip next spring, where she will continue to share her story and her message of God's love. Live in studio, Jill Jelnick, Channel 3 Eyewitness Sports.